I would never show a move.
Shooting like this?
Never.
The other way?
No. So, shooting, okay? Great question. Same thing with shooting. And I got asked this question. I did this for the German Basketball Federation last year. And I used the example of Dirk Nowitzki. Imagine what would have happened if Dirk was 14 years old and his coach came in and told him to shoot with perfect form. Dirk Nowitzki would not have been Dirk Nowitzki because the most unique part of his game was this. And I will show you on my presentation, every shooter shoots differently. Every shooter. Why? Different hand size, different bones, injuries, different sports they played, left and right eye dominant. The whole anatomy is different. Every player is so different. So instead, again, I use constraints. So it could be, Martin, just come in here, really simple. You're going to shoot the ball. Imagine Martin's a beginner in the mid-range, anywhere you want. I'm going to pass, and it's one-on-one, but you can only shoot. Go. So there's time pressure. He is going to have to shoot at a speed which is realistic, and he's going to have to shoot over me. Now, what we could do, and shooting is the only situation where I do some 1-on-0, but it's not traditional 1-on-0. It's called differential learning. It's another approach. And what that is we shoot always randomly. So imagine, Martin, don't shoot, just imagine you're shooting. Always change range and location, and I'm going to give you different passes. Shoot it, pass it back. Yeah, exactly. So now change location, and I might contest too. Awesome. Change location, change location. Bad passes. So what we're doing is we're creating as much variability as possible. The traditional approach to shooting is limit variability and make players do the same thing. There is no such thing as muscle memory. Muscle memory is fake. It doesn't exist. So what we want is we want players to learn to move and shoot in different ways. So then what else I could do? Shoot from different stances. So what we're doing is we're exaggerating the stance, and it forces their upper body to organize in different ways without us telling them how to shoot it. I could say shoot with different arcs, a high arc and a low arc. I could say shoot alternating between the backboard and the net. It affects their self-organization, right? Different size basketballs, a size 7 and a size 5. So there's loads of different things we could do with this to promote maximum variability.
I think that there must-have things that make your shot much more
okay.
like cookies. I don't know
sure.
who there is.
Sure. So I get that a lot. So you can use some external cues to promote shooting. What I mean with an external cue is anytime we give internal feedback is related to the body. Bend your knees, have your elbow here, have your wrist like this. All the research shows that that's really detrimental and bad for performance in all sports. So what we could do is externalize the feedback where we talk about the outcome of the shot, but not to shoot it, but it changes how they shoot. So, a simple example, shoot the ball higher, right? If you say shoot the ball higher to a player, naturally, what will they do? They're going to generate more power. They're going to bend. What we don't want them to do is be thinking about their body. The biggest thing I do with shooting is a constraint called a brad. Back, rim, and down. Brad. So every shot, the constraint is we're not just trying to score, we're trying to score a brad shot, where the ball hits the back of the rim and goes in. Brad. So that is like the best constraint because it focuses their attention every time on arc, because obviously to score Brad, you need really good arc. But how each player moves their body to do that is going to be different. I have a bunch of stuff on shooting on the classroom presentation I have where I actually give you the science, because it's one thing me telling you, but it's another thing if I give you the science and you guys can read it. It's two different things. So what I'm going to do is give you the studies and the research, then you guys can read that, and it's not just coming from me now, like telling you, if that makes sense. It's very different to understand. When I started 5 years ago doing this approach, I thought the same. So what I used to do was I used the constraint-led approach, but then with shooting, I was traditional. And I taught players technique, I did form shooting. And the more I learned about this approach and the more science I read, the more I moved away from that. And the more of an impact I saw with the players too. And it's really difficult to understand. When I started, I was very resistant to this. I was like, there's no way this can be true. And then as soon as I started doing it and I just saw the difference in my players, everything changed for the better.